How's it going, YouTube? It's Elliot here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Elliot Reads video, guys. This is a very late July wrap up. I'm very sorry, but my August has been freaking hectic. On Friday I'll have my to be read, what I've been reading for the month of August, and what I plan to continue reading in the rest of the month of August, because I know we're like nearly finished it now. It's like 2 weeks away from the finishing of August, so YOLO. But anyways, I'm going to take you through the 5 books that I read for the month of July and my thoughts and reviews on them. And yeah, you know the score by now, guys. I've done this for a while now. But anyways, let's get into it and let's review the books that I read. Okay, guys, the first book I read was Maggie Moves On by Lucy Score. This is about Maggie, who is a house renovator, and she does a series for YouTube, and she hires this landscaper called Silas to help her with the renovation of doing the garden and things. And Silas is pretty much smitten from the moment he sees Maggie. But Maggie's a bit hesitant because she doesn't want to get involved with employees and things. So she's more hesitant than him, but he is convinced that Maggie's going to be his by the end of this renovation project. So he's trying to butter her up and sweeten her up over the course of the renovation. And yeah, it's really sweet. It's a really good read. Really enjoyed the story, really enjoyed the character development, really enjoyed like seeing their love blossom over the renovation process and how he was able to woo her and make her break down her walls a little bit each time that they saw each other. And yeah, I gave it a 4-star. This was a really good read, highly recommend it. But that's the first book I read for the month of July. Okay, guys, the second book I read was The Hating Game by Sally Thorne, which is also based on a movie. So I read the book, then I watched the movie. I preferred the book to the movie. The book is much more better than the movie, I think, anyways. So yeah, but anyways, this is about Lucy and Joshua, who work in the same firm, and they are the assistants of the both CEOs who run the company that they're a part of, which is a book company. So they publish books and send them to like the shops, basically. Ever since the moment they met, they've hated each other. They're always in competition with each other, trying to one-up each other. They make like silly games like the staring game or the HR game, see who can get the most hits with HR and things like that. A promotion becomes available in the company, so obviously these two are gonna fight to the death for one of them to get it. So obviously Lucy wants it and Joshua wants it, so they're gonna fight against each other until one of them gets it, and if the other one gets it, then the other one's gonna quit. While this is going on, they're trying to like psych each other out and try and make the other one become nervous and not be able to go through with the interview for the new position that's come up in the company. But Lucy goes on a date with another guy from the company to make Joshua jealous, pretty much find out that she can get dates and that she doesn't care what Joshua thinks about her or how she looks. Joshua kind of knocks their relationship out of sorts by kissing her in the elevator as she's going for this date. So when they're leaving work one day, he kisses her in this elevator, and even though they say that they hate each other, so they say, and yeah, it just knocks their relationship out of sorts, and over the course of the book they just start to fall for each other. So it's like an enemies to lovers sort of thing. They come to realise that they actually really liked each other all along, and it was just like a facade to be able to cope with the sexual tension and the feelings that they had for each other deep down. So that's why they were being horrible to each other, just to hide that tension, and it was just a facade. But anyways, guys, I really enjoyed this book. It was a really cool story. Joshua and Lucy were really good characters, and yeah, I give this one 4-star as well. So yeah, that's the second book I read for the month of July. Okay, guys, the third book I read was Out of Sight by Elmore Leonard. Okay, guys, so this is about Jack Foley, who is a convict, and he is planning to escape with other convict. He convinces a guard who he's become buddy with to come to the church so he can show this guard that these people are trying to escape. But when the guard comes to the church, Jack obviously bops him over the head and steals his uniform. So it looks like he's one of the guards trying to catch these convicts who are escaping so he can get away easier. And that's what he does. The convicts go through the hole and the alarms go off. So he follows them through the hole, and the other guards just think he's a guard of the prison and he was coming through the hole after them to try and capture them and send them back. But while all this is going on, his friend Buddy has pulled up to the prison to be his getaway car, and also an FBI agent is there to follow up on some reports of like wrongdoing in the prison. So she was waiting to go in, and obviously Jack goes over to Buddy and tries to get away, but the FBI agent goes up to him and goes, "You're not a cop, why are you pretending to be a cop and escaping these guys? Turn around and let me arrest you again and let's get you back in there." He's like, "Obviously no." So they take her gun and they put her in the boot of the car, and Jack gets in the boot of the car with her because as soon as he sets eyes on this woman, he really likes her and he wants to get to know her more. So he gets in the boot with her while Buddy drives them to meet their friend Glenn, who has another car so they can swap cars and ditch that one so they don't get caught. So while they're driving to this destination, Jack and Karen are getting to know each other, talking about movies and things and what they like, and instantly Jack falls in love with this woman, and Karen starts to feel feelings for him, even though they've just met and they don't even know each other that well. They start to get feelings for each other. And so when they get to the location where Glenn is sitting with the other car, Jack wants to get changed out of this prison guard uniform and into fresh clothes. So again, they don't get caught if they get pulled over or anything. So he tells Karen to go to the other car with Glenn, which she does. And she convinces Glenn to let her escape and like drive her away, and she'll give him like an immunity deal and protect him and things. So he agrees to that, and he holds out of there, leaving Jack and Buddy to fend for themselves and not have another car. So when he's taking Karen away, he kind of panics and then crashes the car by an accident. Like, he skids off the road because he's in that much of a panic. And so Karen ends up in hospital, but Glenn obviously likes it. And the rest of the book is Karen trying to find Glenn and trying to find Jack, because Jack and Buddy go into an apartment that he's rented and they go into hiding. Because Buddy's not wanted, it's only Jack that's wanted, so they can stay where they please. While Jack is trying to lay low and think about where to go next, Glenn is talking to an ex-con who used to be his friend called Snoopy. Well, his real name's Maurice, but he goes by the gang name Snoopy. And they're planning to rob a rich guy who Glenn heard on a grapevine is in a really nice area. So they know this guy's got a lot of money, so they're planning to rob this guy. So while this plan's going on, they ask for the help of Jack and Buddy, because obviously they're ex-cons as well. Jack got convicted for robbing banks, so he knows the score of how to do a robbery properly, but his car totaled out, that's why he got caught. His car broke down, so he couldn't go anywhere. He couldn't get away in the getaway car, so that's why he got caught in the first place. So with his experience of robberies being carried out quite consistently and well over the years, apart from that one time he got caught, so they hire him to help them out with this robbery, and he agrees if he gets half of the money. Him and Buddy get half the money, then he agrees to do it. But before this robbery takes place, Jack meets up again with Karen and they have a night together, and she tells him that she liked him, but it can't be anything because of the situation that they're in. He's a convict and she's an FBI agent, so it won't work out. And she also met Glenn before the robbery was taking place, and he actually told her where the robbery was taking place, but he didn't say when because he didn't know. So when this robbery's going down, she goes to the location where the robbery's going to be and sits outside. The robbery starts to go wrong. The guy actually isn't there who they're trying to rob, it's just a kid who's house sitting for him. So it all goes wrong. Everyone gets caught in the crossfire. Majority of them die. The only one that survives is Jack. And obviously, since Karen's here with all of she calls for backup and she goes into the house and she finds Jack on the stairs trying to escape, and she's like, "Jack, don't make me do this. Don't make me have to kill you. Please just let me take you in and we can see what kind of deal we can get you." So he agrees. And then that's pretty much where it ends. She catches him again and takes him back to jail, but obviously they like each other, but they can't do anything because of the situation that they're in. But yeah, I gave it 3 stars. The movie's based on the book, which I'm still yet to watch, but I will watch it. But I gave this one a 3 star. The characters are really cool. The character development is really good, but there wasn't much crime involved. Like, they had this idea to rob someone, but it didn't really execute very well. Yeah, it didn't really go anywhere. There wasn't much crime involved for a convict, escaping prison, because you'd think he would try to do it again to get some money to like start their life or something, but no, there was no, like, apart from the robbery, there was not really any crime involved. But yeah, that was the 3rd book I read for the month of July. Hey guys, the fourth book I read was Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. This is about Chloe, who has fibromyalgia. I think that's how you say it. So she gets fatigued quite a lot. She's always tired. She's always in pain. She pretty much bases her life around her illness. So she doesn't really do much, doesn't get out much. She pretty much just stays in the house, hooked up on pain meds, and just tries and gets through the day by day as much as she can. So her and her sisters come up with a get a life list to give her like a better life and make her be able to get out more and socialise and do things that she doesn't think she can do, but with the pain meds helping the pain, she feels like she can do a lot more. So she wants to ride a motorbike, she wants to go out clubbing, she wants to have meaningless but good sex, she wants to travel the world, things like that. And she moves into an apartment because she's from a rich family. She wants to get a little bit of independence and show people that she can look after herself even though she's constantly in pain and things. So she moves into this apartment building, and then there's this guy in the building who's obviously like the maintenance guy, so he oversees all the repairs and things in the place. And they pretty much don't like each other. They like call each other names and are really sarcastic and horrible to each other. But Red has a motorbike, and Red is an artist who needs help with a website to display his work, his paintings and things. Chloe's job is actually to do web design and make websites for people, so she makes a deal with Red. If he takes her on a motorbike ride, then she'll design his website for free. And so he does, he agrees to it, and he takes her on this motorbike. She starts to let loose a bit and become a bit more nicer. In other words, she becomes more nicer to him and she lets her walls down a little bit. Then she asks Red for help in completing other things on her list, and he agrees to it. As they spend more time together with Red trying to help her complete her Get a Life list, and with her designing his website, they start to develop feelings for each other that they're very scared to go into because they've both had their hearts broken and they're a bit wary of relationships, but they kind of like tunnel past it and get on with it and start to develop a relationship with each other and start to gather feelings for each other. And so once they have these feelings and they express these feelings to each other, they sleep together. And then Red overhears her talking to her sisters about the list and talking about the meaningless sex one. And obviously he overhears it and he's like, was it all a facade just to complete a list? Did that not mean anything? Was it just meaningless sex to her? Because I thought we were like actually connecting and becoming something. So he kind of like freaks out and like leaves her house, and she can't understand why he's freaking out and what's happened. That he basically says, I don't want to see anymore, blah blah blah. And then she's trying to figure out what happened and why he doesn't want to see her anymore. They come to realise that they can't be without each other, and they actually finally meet up and talk things through and work out the misunderstanding that happened. And she went, I actually changed the list way before this night happened. If you read the new list, it actually says keep Red. I replaced the meaningless sex one with keep Red because I started to get feelings for you and I wanted to be something more, and I wanted this to go in a positive direction. They work it all out and they get past this little bump in the road that they had, and they get together and they live happily ever after, so to speak. But yeah, I give this one a 4-star, and it was a really good read. Loved the character of Red and Chloe. Her sisters were really funny as well. It was a really funny book. It was a really wholesome read, and it was nice to read about someone with something like fibromyalgia, what doesn't really get talked about much. Like things like that don't really get talked about much in books, so it's nice to have a character who had that and see the struggles with things that and how they coped with it and how it affected their daily life, so much that they had to make a Get a Life list just to get some independence back and some life back. So yeah, it was really really interesting. I gave it 4 stars, so that's the 4th book I read for the month of July. Hey guys, the 5th book I read for the month of July was Missing You by Harlan Coben. And this is about Kat Donovan, who works for the NYPD as a detective, and she broke up with her fiance 18 years ago. He broke her heart and walked out on her. Since then, she's been very lonely and depressed, so her friend Stacey signs her up to a dating website, and she goes onto this dating website, and she actually finds her ex-fiance on there, who was called Jess. So she's in two minds about like messaging him or whatever, finds out he's actually a widow with a child. So a lot has happened in them 18 years since they broke up. And Kat's a bit like, oh geez, he's had a whole different life without me, that's wild, sort of thing. So anyway, she does end up messaging this guy, messaging Jeff, but weirdly enough, he doesn't remember her at first. So she's like, it's Kat. we used to be like together, blah blah blah. And he's like, oh yeah. Well, we should kind of let things be in the past and not take this any further. I don't want to speak anymore because I've moved past it and I want to start new. So she's like, okay, fair enough, that's fine. And they stop speaking. On the other hand of there's another story, so this is basically two stories like mixing into one. On the other hand, there's women who are going missing, and this kid comes to her who's called Brandon. He is from a wealthy family, and his mother goes missing because she started dating again once his father died. He goes to Kat and he's like, my mum is missing. She hasn't contacted me since she went away. She went away with this guy who she met on a dating website, and it's all just a bit weird because she never not contacts me. She contacts me daily when she's away or if she's going anywhere, and she hasn't contacted me in a while. So Kat starts to look into it, and they actually find out that it's Jeff who this woman has been talking to, and multiple women have been talking to Jeff through this dating website and then going on holiday and going missing. She's trying to investigate what is going on, why Jeff is taking these women and why they're not coming back when they go on holiday with Jeff. But it's not actually Jeff who is on the dating website, as Kat comes to find out throughout the book. It's actually part of a trafficking scam. So this guy sets up fake profiles and talks to women online and promises them a holiday and a new life and everything like that, and he convinces them to come to this location and he keeps them there hostage and makes them like transfer money into a bank account like that's not traceable, it hasn't got a name attached to it, it's just a numbered account. So he makes them transfer their money and bleed them dry until they've got no more money left, and then he discards them. With all this going on and Kat trying to figure out what's happening and why someone's using like Jeff's profile pictures and catfishing women, Kat gets closer and closer to solving this case and finding out different things that tell her that it isn't actually Jeff that's doing it and it's actually a catfishing thing, and she gets closer and closer to finding this guy and who he is. And yeah, it was a really gripping read. Really kept you wanting to read more and find out who this guy was and how he carried out this scheme for so long without getting caught. It was a really fascinating read. Kat is a really cool character. The whole investigation was really well put together. Very good. Really enjoyed it, guys, and I gave this one 4 stars, so highly recommend it if you want to pick up a really fascinating, interesting read. That was the 5th book that I read for the month of July, and that is all the books I read for the month of July. That was it, guys. I hope you enjoyed my reviews and a bit more about the books in more detail. But yeah, I'm going to wrap this up, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to smash the like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you want to catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys. See you tonight. Bye from the video.